Hi, and thanks so much for being willing to interview for an internship slot at Naropa Community Counseling. In order to give you as much information as possible about the site and maybe answer questions that you might have, I want to tell you a little bit about the internship. My name's Joy Redstone, and I'm the clinical director. And I'm gonna just try to hit some main points. So, the mission of the clinic is to provide excellent but affordable mental health care for people in the community that are in need. And another part of the mission is to be a training site that offers an excellent education, one that is really grounded in mindfulness and holistic approaches. We, in the past, had only Naropa interns, but over the last few years, we've had a cohort of interns from a variety of schools. And that's been a huge step forward for us. Really creates a vibrant setting where lots of folks share ideas. Everyone that comes to our site tends to be very interested in mindfulness and meditation and alternative healing. However, different schools have different teaching approaches, and that makes for a really rich environment. So the internship lasts for a year and starts May 16th, 2022. The first thing that will happen is there will be 2 weeks of training. Each week will be about 15 to 20 hours apiece. And that's a really, really important thing to be able to attend. In addition to training you about needed skills that for the beginning of internship, it's also orientation and team building and meeting everyone that works in the clinic and so on and so forth. Clients. The types of clients that we serve at the clinic are ones that are appropriate for graduate student level therapists. So typically it's life transitions, birth, death, divorce, jobs, moving, that kind of thing. We work with a lot of people that suffer from depression or PTSD or anxiety. Occasionally we work with people with ADHD or OCD or a well-managed bipolar kind of situation or well-managed psychotic disorder kind of situation. But folks that are too complex or require significant case management get referred out to other clinics in the community where folks are a little bit more experienced. We work with people age 12 and over. We see folks for individual, couples, family, and groups. We have a growing number of adolescent clients. Mostly people in their 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, occasionally people in their 60s and 70s. Lots of folks that are LGBTQIA, not particularly a diverse clientele, although we occasionally do have folks that speak Spanish, so if you speak Spanish, that would be a big plus. Growing amounts of couples, growing amounts of groups, and we'll talk about groups a little bit more in a moment. You will be assigned transfers from the outgoing interns. Typically you get around 3 or 4 transfers, which is a nice way to get started. You have a caseload without having to do the intakes and write up the intakes and so forth. But after the 2 weeks of training, you'll start being assigned 1 or 2 intakes a week. Presuming that those people are a good fit for the clinic and a good fit for you, then you will keep those. A full caseload for us is 15 clients a week, and I'll talk also a little bit more about how much time that generally takes. Supervisors. I'm a supervisor, and I have my LCSW and a CAC3. Bill Monroe is the name of one of the other supervisors. He's also an LCSW and a CAC3. Deb Silver is the third. She's a Naropa alum out of the somatic program. She's an LPCC. We try to honor your preferences, but scheduling does get a little complicated with the supervisors as well. So we just basically ask you for your first and second preferences, and we've always been able to honor that. So the hours of the clinic is closed weekends. It's open from 9 to 8, Monday through Friday, or Monday through Thursday, 9 to 6 on Friday. We do ask that you either work a Friday or a Monday, and we do ask, and this is probably the most important thing, we do ask that you work one evening, which we define as from 5 to 8. If you're ever low on hours, you absolutely can fill that by just opening up an evening slot. Most of our folks are working, and so those evening slots are really, really coveted by our clients. We give you 2 weeks of vacation, and then on top of that, you get the clinic closes for 2 weeks at Christmas. So you also get like a week sick time. There is a process to request vacation. You do need to give like 2 weeks notice that we don't have like issues with covering your clients. Do not take vacation right before or right after Christmas time. That's a time we lose a lot of clients anyway. So if you do put in a vacation request at that time, definitely will get turned down. Documentation. Our main payer sources are Medicaid and self-pay. Self-pay clients pay $30 a session, generally, although we do have a small scholarship fund. About half of our clients are Medicaid, so all of our documentation requirements are have to meet Medicaid documentation requirements. Those are some hefty requirements. So each client will receive a diagnosis, and notes have to be done within 48 hours of seeing the person. Treatment plans are done at the third session. Treatment plans must have measurable goals and objectives. There's a chart review that we do every 2 or 3 weeks, looking for things like making sure all the progress notes are written, making sure people's Medicaid cards are uploaded, making sure treatment plans are completed, that kind of thing. We handle the billing to Medicaid. You do have to click a little button in the electronic health record to submit an invoice, but that's fairly straightforward. I mentioned the 15 clients a week. So what this really looks like at its maximum is 1 hour a week of clinical supervision, 2 hours a week of group supervision, 1.5 to 2 hours of training, and your clients. Not every client wants to come every week. Certainly people are no-showing and canceling and so forth. So be very unlikely that all 15 would ever come within 1 week. All told, it takes about 20 hours a week to complete internship. Obviously, as soon as you start, you're not full, so it's kind of a little bit of a bell curve. You start out slow, you get to a fairly busy chunk lasts from like September to March. In March, your people start falling off generally, and we close you guys to intakes, new intakes usually in April, so that you can have some attrition on your caseload as you head into graduation. One thing that is absolutely mandatory is attending group supervision and training. Those meetings are on Thursday. They really need to be attended in person. So it's 2 hours of group supervision and like 1.5 to 2 hours of training. In the summer, that's training delivered by us 3 supervisors. In the fall, we have a training series with the Student Counseling Center at Naropa, and we bring like local experts in and offer trainings. In the fall, we also alternate training and video supervision. Video supervision is where you take like a 10-minute clip of a session with the consent of your client, obviously, and then show it to the group. It's very carefully facilitated by me, and it's very supportive, and it's really a very strong way of learning. Um, let's see. Groups. I want to mention groups. We do have a few groups already going, and there's plenty of room if you're interested to start your own groups. It takes a good long time to get that going. You know, figuring out your plan and figuring out your curriculum and marketing and screening and so on and so forth. But it's a great experience, and we strongly encourage you to think about trying some groups while you're at the clinic, because it's a highly marketable skill. I think that those are the highlights. I may have missed a few things, but plenty of time for you to ask questions during the interview as well. Thanks for taking the time to watch this.